What's up, guys and gals, and welcome back to the Nerd Castle. Today in the world of indie games, we're going to be taking a look to Lost Scavenger. This is a game that is very much in the same vein as Neo Scavenger. In fact, it's honestly like indistinct from Neo Scavenger. This game was very clearly made by somebody that really loved Neo Scavenger and just wanted a more graphically updated version of that game. Pretty much everything here is more or less the same. I've spent about 2 or 3 hours with the game. I figured we'd dive on in today and do a video, and I'll give you my thoughts as we go. But anyways, if after watching this you wanted to check the game out, it's in early access right now. You can look down below in the description. I'll have a link for you if you wanted to add it to your wish list or keep an eye on it. At the end of the video, I'll try to cut like 2 or 3 minutes to give you like my thoughts from my playtime and the things that I've noticed as I've been going through the game so that you can make an educated decision. If you feel like I missed anything or you had any further questions, you can definitely find me on my Discord. That's linked down below. Or you can ask me about it when I'm live on Twitch, which is also down below. All right, so let's dive on in. We're going to start off a new game, and at the beginning, we get to pick an archetype. So, like, in this game, as far as I can tell, you don't actually get to make a custom character, although I would highly recommend that they maybe add that option a little bit later on down. It looks like you can randomize to, like, a certain extent, but as I understand it, well, it looks like it does actually randomize the stats on these guys. So you don't get the... Do you get the same thing every time? Go back to the doctor now. So perceptive, lucky, and medic. Perceptive, okay, so it is always the same. Like, each of these archetypes basically stay in their lane, but I would very much like a blank template character that I can just make from scratch. I feel like that would be a real, like, just add an extra custom option down here. You could slide this up and it looks like it would fit. And so I would recommend that for later on because some people don't like to take the archetypes. They like to build from the ground up. But we've got everything from drug addicts to tourists to cops to anything you could really think of over here. We'll probably go with the cop at the beginning because the cop actually gets, like, a lot of things that he starts out with that are pretty good. And so I don't mind taking him. On top of that, we've got to pick a difficulty level. You should take these seriously. So I know that hardcore is in the middle. The hardcore one is actually kind of like the Iron Man mode or like the roguelike mode, effectively, as I understand it. And in addition, it is quite a bit more difficult. My 2 hours were spent playing on hardcore, and then I made a story mode run afterwards, and the story mode does feel a lot more like balanced and a lot less random. It feels like you can actually kind of like fiddle with things and take chances on stuff, whereas hardcore, you're kind of expected to know what you're doing. And so for the case of this game, I would actually say that story mode is kind of the normal difficulty. Hardcore is like the hard mode, and then insane is basically super difficult. So just keep that in mind. This is not like baby easy mode. This is actually kind of, I don't know if it's the intended way to play the game, but I found the experience to be much smoother on story mode. Like, you could still get wounded, you could still die, you could still have problems, but it didn't seem like the game was actively trying to take you out at every junction. Over here, we've got 3 points available. We can play around with some stuff. There's a whole bunch of perks and things that you can pick from over on this side. You can pick and choose and decide which one you like better. I think that... So the character needs more food, but heals faster. Okay, we can be a giant. We can be flexible. These will give you extra options in interactions while you're cruising around the map. I'll probably go with charismatic so that people like us a little bit better. Ascetic is good because you can rest in any conditions and not really have any major problems. We also have burglary over here, which I feel like is a really good plan. I figure like a cop would probably have a decent idea of how to get into buildings and things of that nature just due to breach training and whatnot. So we'll take those, and then we are out of points. Aside from that, we have psychological stability. We can use that to get through stressful situations. We have fast reflexes. They allow us to, it does exactly what it says on the tin. We can react faster to stimuli. And then over here we have absent-minded, which means that we forget about things. So life is a little bit more dangerous, and we get less loot. That's a little bit of a downer, considering how important loot is. And then we are unable to swim, and so we'll either have to, like, make a raft, or we'll have to go around whenever we come across, like, a tributary, a strait, a creek, anything else like that, because my man is terrified of water. Let's start the game. The cool rays of the setting sun knock on the window and tickle your sleepy eyes. Your work shift comes to an end. Yawning, you leave the building and ask the officer on duty what happened in the precinct over the last 2 hours. They raked in a noisy couple, a thief and a junkie. They're holding them separately, and the thief is ready to rip out the addict's throat, and the major is waiting for you in the armory. Okay, let's go see what's up in the armory.
Hi,
Before entering the armory, you decide to smoke on the balcony. Taking a drag of your cigarette, you closely calm your eyes, but once you open them again, you find yourself in the middle of an impenetrable fog. Returning to the building, you're greeted by an unfamiliar sight. The walls are shabby, the floors are filled with dust and debris. Vagrants with sticks at the ready emerge from the armory. Someone else is looting here! Get him! Okay, we'll enter the battle. Having difficulty keeping your footing, you examine the armory. Apart from the two marauders, there's nobody else here. It looks abandoned. No weapons, no useful items. Fortunately, you'll be able to take something from the bodies of your defeated foes. Okay, let's go ahead down the hall. In the hallway, the same devastation awaits you. Everything is plundered and destroyed, and the floor is strewn with papers and rubbish, yellowed with age. The walls are splattered with black spots. You recognize them as hardened blood. You can look at the trash and see what happened. You start rummaging through the rubble, sweeping dust from every sheet of paper you find. Your persistence is rewarded when you find a document. However, you can only make out a date, 9/12/1991. We can run away from the dog, apparently, which was never mentioned in the text right here, or we can stand still. You stand motionless, hoping that if you don't move, the dogs won't chase. As the drop of sweat runs down your nose and falls to the floor, they rush at you, biting your hand with their fangs. Lifeless dogs now lie at your feet, their muzzles covered with a scattering of eye pus and black crystalline growths that grow on their bodies. Once outside, you don't recognize the town. The sky is shrouded with leaden clouds. The streets are abandoned, and barks and growls echo from every corner. Wandering through familiar childhood streets, you carefully leave town. Arrows are still visible on the peeling walls of houses, pointing you in one direction. A pale green field stretches out in front of you, and old twisted power lines run along the ashen horizon. The sky, like an old body bag, is riddled with knots and dark clouds. You cannot recognize the world, and many questions are whirling through your mind. There are no answers to any of them. All right, so we got some stuff. We have bandages, though, so it's going to be all right. Let's go ahead and talk about the UI. So here we are on the world map right here. We are this guy right here at this location. At the top, we've got a clock for what time it is. We have the daily temperature right here. On the left side, we have our buffs and debuffs up in this little window. We have our overall health. We have our energy. We have our food. We have our water, our temperature. I think this one right here is how stressed we are. Right here, we have our intoxication, and then we have our mutation level. Down at the bottom left, you've got contextual buttons that you can push to do activities on the tile that we're currently occupying. We've got our backpack, we've got our health, and we've got our crafting menu. And that's pretty much everything. For right now, they've given us a basic quest to go ahead and feed ourselves before we leave the location. We'll take a look at our inventory. It does look like we have an apple, so we'll go ahead and eat that. That'll fill up our food and our water a little tiny bit. We've gotten ourselves a wooden club from the guy that we fought, so we'll go ahead and equip that real fast. There's a tin over here. We can actually use this for cooking, and then I think we can also use it for boiling water or something. We've got bandages. We probably want to apply those. Our left arm has 82 HP right now, so we'll go ahead and put that on our arm real fast. So there you go. We've wrapped that up, and so this wound should start healing from the dog bite that we received. For now, I think our best course of events is to go ahead and search this locality. Just like in Lost Scavenger, you can use various tools to increase your success rate while you're scavenging in a location, and every activity that you take on the world map is going to have a cost. To either your health, your energy, so on and so forth. Right now, we only have a lighter, which is going to allow us to illuminate a little bit. We are 89% safe while we're searching, and then there is 63% of the loot. Oh, that's our probability of finding stuff. Okay. In one of the houses, you find a leaflet. Stronghold informs your nearest evacuation point is the Mitten Village. On a schematic map, indicated is the direction. Perhaps there are still people. So this game is going to be littered with translational issues. It started up in Russian for me, actually. And so the game definitely needs like someone to go through and translate it professionally into other languages. As of right now, I'm not going to say that it's quite at a level of being like auto-translated, but there are definitely pockets of sort of text and environments and whatnot that will be very, very kind of hastily translated. And it can be kind of hard sometimes. You got to piece it together for a second or two. That being said, there are also pieces of the UI that will occasionally be in Russian, even though you have the game set to English. That's another one of those things that needs to be resolved about as soon as possible. If the game says that it supports English on the Steam page, it absolutely should. I don't have a problem with the game being like Russian exclusive or anything else like that either. It's just like if the translation is going to be done, I'd usually prefer it be done to like a moderate to high quality, or at least a functional quality instead of there being buttons every now and again that you don't know exactly what they do because they're in Russian, and unfortunately, you don't read Cyrillic. All right, so we've got a location we can go to. That's going to be our next objective. For right now, I would actually take a little bit of time, and I would continue searching this location. We want to be kind of equipped before we leave. So there's some glass shards on the ground. We'll go ahead and search again. We got a water bottle right there. We got some spoiled food, and we got some more glass. We've got a actual full-on rope right there. We've got another lighter, which is fantastic, and we've got some rags. And then we've got another water bottle, some more spoiled food, and some glass shards. Okay, so let's go ahead and take a look at the stuff that's on the ground right now. There are going to be things here that I think we want to keep. I think that an empty whiskey bottle, I don't know if we can actually fill that up with water. It doesn't have a water tag on it, but I would definitely say that one of the nice things about Neo Scavenger is that logically they went through every single object, like the tin cans and like the bottles for vodka and whatnot, and every single one of them can be used as a storage receptacle for like things you need, like food and water. I will take a second water bottle. I think that's a really, really good idea, and we can rotate that in right there. I will take the lighter because it's a secondary light source, and we're going to run out pretty soon. I'll take the rope because that's kind of an advanced object that's hard to manufacture. These right here are great for bandages, and so I'll take those. I do want the glass shards as well, because you can improvise a glass shard as a cutting tool. And then on top of that, we probably want to bring those threads, because threads are used in just about every crafting recipe in this game. And so you're going to want to have threads on you, otherwise you're going to have a bad time. Did our dog bite heal? It has not healed yet. I mean, it's only been an hour and a half. So what I'd like to do is we're going to move over to this forest right here, and we're going to kind of like tap into our water supplies. And so off we go. The game does have performance issues. What you'll find is that there's going to be a lot of lag spikes and FPS drops while you're moving around the map. While you're standing still and in combat, that's not an issue. But world map traversal, you definitely end up with some chuggy boys that may annoy some people that really, really like games to play at 60 frames. I know for me that's a little bit of a letdown because I'm a bit of a 60 frame purist. But anyways, let's search this location. We're going to forage a little bit. So we found some food. That's really, really good. And we are actually effectively out of energy pretty shortly. But we did manage to find some things that we can imbibe and that we can eat, and so that's good. I don't know if we found enough stuff to actually make a fire. In fact, it looks like we did not. We do want to collect water in both of these bottles. That is going to be dirty water. There's a little bit of UI lag right there that I think they're going to want to clean up as well, just to get the game popping and running smoothly. I'm trying to go easy on the game because it's like their first patch of a first early access release, but that always has to be kind of counterbalanced with me personally by the fact that, like, if you're charging money for a product, that product is now open to critique because people are spending their hard-earned cash on it. Therefore, you're no longer exempt. So if we're doing like a free playtest right now, like an open beta basically, where people could dive in and play the game and give suggestions, I probably wouldn't be critiquing quite as much. But like at the end of the day, it's a product, you charge money for it, and so it's open to critique. We've got our water. We're going to need to find a way to purify that, which means we're going to have to find some more stuff to build a fire. But we need to rest first. We don't have a whole lot of energy, so I think we're going to have to rest till almost sundown. So let's go ahead and get that done real quick. There we go. Our energy is back up at full. Our water is not great right now. Our food is okay. So what I would actually personally do is we've got some red currants over here. That'll give us a +5 to food and water. These black currants will do the same thing, so we'll go ahead and throw those down our gullet as well. Although it looks like we got something from this. Apparently we were weakened, I guess? Not sure. It looks like we were weakened. But anyways, we've also got some mushrooms over here. Could be beneficial for health, sometimes not. Okay, well, let's throw those down as well. And it looks like we've got some diarrhea rocking. There you go. We've got the red apple, or the green, well, if it's red apple, that's bad. Go to a doctor. We got the green apple splatters going on. When you slide into first and you feel a big burst. So on and so forth, and all of those third grade songs. We've got stones. We've got branches. I don't know if you can throw the rocks at things. Yeah, you can, actually. You can use them as sling projectiles. Okay, I don't know how to build a sling, but we need to search this location for a few more objects so that we can build a fire. And we'll probably spend the night here, and we'll kind of bounce in between the town and in between this forest, kind of filling up our pockets with useful stuff so that we can make the long journey over to the settlement. Because it is farther than you think it's going to be. It'll probably take us about 2 days to get over there, and we're going to need food and water to support that journey. The good news is we can actually drink from this location because it has a water tag. Because the water is not purified, there's a chance that bad things will happen. But it looks like we didn't really run into any of that. It looks like we did pick up some blood poisoning, though, although nothing like too severe. It didn't bottom out our meter, so the water was not great for us, but it did fill up our meters, and so we'll take it. Let's go ahead and search this location for anything that'll make a signal fire. So there's some more sticks right there. We got some more currants. That's great. We've got healing herbs. That's also fantastic. I think we need 5 wood chips and 5 sticks in order to make a fire, and it looks like we have that right now. We're not cold or anything at the moment, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to leave this stuff over here, and we're going to camp out here for the night, but I am going to bring the food with me. We need to cook the grasshoppers in order to eat them, and I think we need to cook the worms in order to eat them as well. I will take the medicinal herbs, although I don't know if there's anything we can craft from that. The game does have a considerably large crafting menu, and I think you learn more stuff along the way as well. If we've got a stick, a bandage, and we've got a glass thing, we can make a shiv. I don't know if the shiv is going to be better than what we've got. It doesn't look like... Do we get stats out of any of these? It doesn't look like we get stats out of it, but I'd be willing to give it a go. Although these little pips right here denote the quality of the item. So I'm not gonna hazard a guess that we're gonna get a really good shiv out of this. Yeah, we got a yellow shiv. It does 4 to 7 damage. Our hit chance is 21 and our attack range is 4. We can also use it as a cutting tool, though, so there's no need to carry around all this glass with us now because we actually have a dedicated cutting tool. So that's nice. I don't know if it's going to be better than our club, though. So our club is 9 to 14 damage. It's definitely not better than our club, but we can put that in our hand, which allows us to free up the inventory space. We haven't found a use for the ropes yet. Let me go through the crafting menu and see if there's anything we want to work towards where the ropes might be useful. Well, the only thing the rope is useful for making is the wooden bow. And, like, I am interested in making a wooden bow, but there's a caveat there. I don't know if we're going to have the storage space to actively have it. I guess if the knife is in my hand, I can't line it up as a cutting tool. But I assume that its cutting quality is probably better than a glass shard. I would hope anyways. Huh. I don't know. We'll have to take a look and find out. Now can I slide it on in? What if I put it on the ground? It actually looks like the knife is not counting as a cutting tool right now. How very odd. Alright, well, I'll put the glass back in there just in case. But we'll make the bow later. We can always come back over here when we come to settle down for the night and maybe use it for hunting. Let's go back to the town because there's going to be manufactured goods and stuff over here that we can get our hands on. And I feel like that's a good place to start. Unfortunately, it started raining, so we're now getting wet, which is going to make us lose our body temperature pretty quickly. Let's get the searching done about as fast as we can. Is the glass shard better? Oh, no, the knife can be used here, so it's actually better. We've got a piece of rope, and we've got a really good lighter right there. And in fact, it's got funny meme number durability. Huzzah for us. Oh, sweet, we found a sporting bag. I don't think I've ever found anything that good before. Our safety is getting lower, though, so it's probably time for us to bail on out. It's mostly because we're searching after dark. It may also be because there's fog on the adjacency here. Like, the fog seems to be the main catalyst in this game for things going wrong. So instead of a cloth bag, like, how big is this? It's a 24-slot container. Okay, let's put everything on the ground. And 24 slots is definitely better than what we have right now. Oh my god, that's so much better. Okay, fantastic. Let's go ahead and throw those on in there. I'm actually going to get a bunch of water bottles. We'll take the ropes. We'll take the threads. We'll take the good lighter. We'll take the can for cooking. We'll keep the glass on us. Just for crafting purposes, I think. We'll take the metal shards. I'm going to disassemble that. That did give us some bandages, which is great. So that's really, really good. We'll put those in that stack right there. We'll put the bandages right there. I don't know if we actually have the capability to repair things. I assume that if we make a bone needle, we may be able to do so. A lot of these pieces of rope right here are low quality, but if we can make them into bigger ropes, I think it'll work out. Okay. I'm happy with our acquisitions for the day. Unfortunately, we can't move over there, so we've got to rest here for at least like an hour. Okay, the fog didn't move, so we're all right. I'm going to move over to this side, and we will make a fire over here because our body temperature is good. So really, we only need to make the fire in order to purify our water. So we'll go into our crafting menu. We'll go to the fire menu. We've got the big bonfire right here. We have a lighter, so we don't really need to worry about making a bow drill or, any of the other stuff. A torch might be a good idea for better searching. Not enough materials on the table. There we go. We'll move them on over. Okay, so we've got a campfire now. Let's jump on into our water menu, and we'll go ahead and we're going to purify some water out here. I want to have, like, a really good water supply. Okay, we'll collect water right there, and we'll get some more dirty water. Perfect. And then we're going to keep on purifying. Okay, so we should have a couple days worth of water right here. Hopefully. Like, it should be good enough. We have our red currants, so we don't need to worry too much about food right now. Although I do think that the possibility of hunting might be a good idea. So with those 3 on down the gullet, let's take some time and maybe search this location a little bit more for, like, any forageables. There is still loot here, so it might not be a bad idea. We got 2 apples right there. That's fantastic. And some edible mushrooms. They're doo-doo shrooms. They gave us the doo-doos last time. But, like, hopefully we don't get too runny and gross. There's a wolf over here. He might be about to attack us. I'm not going to panic about it just yet, because I don't think it's a concern at this moment. Eat some apples. Okay, looks good. So we've got our meters more or less filled up. We've got a couple options here. We can stay and we can fight the wolf, or we can move on. I'm going to rest here till I get my energy back up, and then we'll move on, I think. So it looks like I just made myself a leaf bed right there by clicking the hammer. I'm not sure that that's what that is. Oh, you can actually set up like a full proper camp right here. Okay, cool. Well, we've made ourselves a lean-to, and we've made ourselves sort of like a... You can make these with like moss or whatnot. It's basically a moss bedroll. It's not like crazy difficult to do, but basically you just want to have anything in between you and the ground. Because the ground will leach off your body temperature really, really, really badly. And so you kind of want to have like a 1 to 2 inch layer between you and the ground. If you can get yourself upraised and build yourself kind of like a... If you can build yourself kind of like a stretcher that's upraised, that's even better. Just to keep you up off the ground, and then you put the padding on top of that, that'd be good too. But it looks like our character did a pretty good job. Let's rest here. If the wolf decides to attack, and indeed it did, we're going to have to deal with this guy. So I suppose into the fight we go, unless it'll let me leave. It looks like it'll let me leave, so I'm just going to, like, bail. Oh, never mind. There it is. So now we're in combat. The combat in this game is literally identical to Neo Scavenger. The only difference is you get a graphical representation of how far away the enemy is, and you get, like, combat animations and stuff. The wolf has moved forward. I'm going to go ahead and do the same thing. We'll go ahead and close the gap a little bit. I think what I'll think about doing is I'm going to do preparation right as he gets up to me. And now that we have preparation, I'm going to hit him with a heavy swing. There you go. 20 damage right there to his torso. We missed with that swing. There's a 19 right there. I'm getting the feeling that we may not be very good at hitting the enemy. Let's just go with a regular strike. There we go. Because it says the heavy swing has less chance of hitting. I'll probably try to recover, too. Do a backflip right now? I don't think I want to grab the wolf. Grabbing the wolf seems highly risky. Okay, I've been knocked down. That means I gotta pick myself back up. Okay, we knocked the wolf down. We're gonna stand up. And we're gonna capitalize. There it is. We killed the wolf, but we are a little bit the worse for wear. The good news is we now have a wolf corpse, so that's pretty cool. We can butcher this with our cutting tool. There we go, and we got some big bones out, and we got a fur out. That's really, really nice. We need to bandage ourselves, too. Let's go ahead and... Oh, we got to see to these wounds. Okay, so our right arm is fine. It's not really missing any HP. This one needs a bandage, though. So we'll throw a bandage on that one right there. But these guys, I think they should go away on their own. Yeah, I was going to say, time to heal 0 seconds. And so these weren't like actual penetrating bites. These were just like they nipped at us. And like you were like, ow! You know, but like it didn't actually break the skin. So we're okay. This one broke the skin right here. Okay, let's cook up our wolf meat, maybe? I mean, we earned ourselves a dinner. We might as well make use of it. I don't think I need to carry around that busted lighter right there. I did want to see if maybe I could get some stuff. Inventory space is kind of at a premium right now, but then again, we're inside of our camp, so I guess I can just throw most things on the ground. And it looks like I found some shades, too. Are those my shades? Did they, like, fall off my face? No, I got sunglasses on. I can smash them probably for some glass or something would be my guess. Okay. Well, we have a campfire here, so, like, I feel like it'd be a dumb missed opportunity for us not to cook this up. Yeah, big old roasted piece of meat right there. Let's move everything on over. Sweet. We got, like, some trail rations. Other things that we can do while we're sitting here is I think we probably want to make like a needle or something. And I think we can make a bone needle right here. I don't know exactly why my character just screamed. I have no idea what that prompt meant. I honestly have no explanation for you why my guy is sitting around being like, "Aah!" Like, I have no clue. Apparently, things didn't go well. We do have a bone needle now, which means we can stitch ourselves up if we have any major issues. I also don't know if that allows us to improve the quality of items. So it looks like we can tear our pants. If I drag the needle onto it, no, it won't let me do that? Okay, well, I was thinking like I could patch up or repair some of this stuff if I had extra cloth or I had like a needle or whatever, but I guess doing any form of mending is not going to be an option right now. Okay. I feel like I'm pretty happy with our supplies for the road. We've got a big meat right here, which restores our hunger entirely. So I'm just going to keep that on me. We'll keep this place as a camp. I would like the ability to mark a location with like a little symbol or whatever so that you can remember that it's your home base. I think that just means that there's items there. Maybe we'll go back and search the town a little bit more. I kind of want to see. We got that duffel bag, dude, and that was like crazy useful. So like, what if we find anything else? You know what I mean? Thirsty? That's okay. I can live with thirsty. It seems like there's a lot of loot here. Oh, we found a car? An old collapsed car. Maybe we can break it down or something? Oh, we gotta have tools. Oh, cool, I could break into the car. Nice. So we just, like, smashed the window and got in. And there was a med kit. That's actually pretty sick. We are pretty tired right now. So we're going to want to give that a minute so that we can rest it up. But that's a really good find. We don't particularly have space for it. We got a second rope as well. And I'm always telling you guys, whenever I do one of these videos, that, like, bindings and strappings are like one of the best things you can possibly have in a survival situation. Like having to sit around and use your own and make like a lanyard or whatever is a huge waste of time and energy if you just have rope on you. That's why in any like camping kit I have, I usually have like a pretty solid arrangement of like, I usually have a long lanyard basically in my kit that's comprised of like a smaller, like 2 or 3 millimeter, like unbreakable string basically. That it unravels when you pop the end off one side. Very, very useful thing to have, because then you can cut whatever lengths you need for securing things like shelters or whatever. And so I sort of obsessively keep ropes. I can't help myself. It's just like, I have been mentally trained to always look for any kind of like lashing or any type of binding. Those are much better ropes than what we have. Those are really high quality ropes. I do want the med kit, but I think we're going to keep on searching over here. Let me go ahead and get we'll get my thirst taken care of real fast. Looks like we get 25% off each swig. And I do like that it incrementally goes down based on how many charges are left inside of the actual survival utility. That's a nice detail. We are going to have to take a little rest right here. Luckily, it's not that late into the day, so we've still got plenty of time to continue searching and looking for goodies. All right, let's continue searching. After finding that car, I've been galvanized. Okay, the next batch of searches provided some decent stuff. We've got a bandana over here, which gives us 1 protection. It's got 20 thermal insulation. It's about the same as what we have, but I'll throw it on. I think that that's a good thing to do. We can also tear this stuff up. We got a new weapon as well, although its durability is kind of low. Yeah, so I found a pipe when I was playing the game previously for a couple hours that was green, and it did like crazy damage compared to the club. Like, it was way, way better. We do need to find some gloves or something. That would be good. I don't actually know if... Yeah, you do have a glove slot right there. So, like, some hand wrappings, something of that nature. Those 5 bandages right there are fantastic. We'll add those to our stack because those are a baseline thing we need to craft just about anything. I think it may be time to make ourselves a new shiv, too. It looks like our shiv loses about 1-2 durability every time we search using it. So we'll have to keep an eye on that. The spoiled food, not that helpful. Scrap metal might be. Is there anything good that we can craft over here? Well, I can combine the ropes here into a large rope. So that feels like an okay plot. I'll go ahead and do it. And there we go. We've got ourselves a couple more ropes. Nice. I don't, for the life of me, know what I'm going to use said ropes for, but we have ropes now. I can make a pallet sled, which is actually a cool idea if I can get another wolf hide. We can make a pallet sled, which we can drag behind us, which would actually increase our storage by quite a bit, which, given the storage problems we're having right now, I think is a really good idea. I'm going to go ahead and eat my meat real fast. There we go, so we're all nice and filled up. I'll take another swig of water as well so that the meters are all looking fantastic. And this is Lost Scavenger. Hope you guys enjoyed it. And like many of you, I definitely wanted more Neo Scavenger. Neo Scavenger was a really deep, unique experience that I think addicted a lot of people, with myself included among that number. Like, this game obviously is doing precisely that. It's just more Neo Scavenger. If that doesn't sound appealing, then this is flatly not going to be the game for you, because it is in all ways Neo Scavenger kind of plus, I guess, in some ways and not in others. It doesn't really deviate from the formula. I like the UI in this game a little bit better than in Neo Scavenger, but there are a number of technical issues that I think make the game a bit of a chore to play. As you no doubt noticed during the course of this video, the performance is not so great with Lost Scavenger. It lags, it chugs out, there are significant delays when it comes to inventory actions, and I think this is where the game critically needs to improve the most if it wants to kind of bounce into people's perception. Balancing stuff and general content to partake in, that can all be resolved over time. People are getting into an early access, and they'll accept that sometimes it takes time to churn out content and balance, but the performance issues are a thing that are going to drive people away right now, because the frame drops are jarring, and they are large enough to interrupt play. And since it's a UI-heavy game, all that UI lag is really going to add up in a play session. So that's what I'd hit. That would be my highest priority at the moment, is to get the game running buttery smooth. It's the main reason that I put just enough hours in to understand what I was doing and get my thoughts put together, and then promptly shelved this game for later updates. The game is narrative-focused. There is a storyline in there, just like Neo Scavenger. It's all serviceable. You are going to run into translation issues in both the UI and the storyline proper, so that's another thing that needs to be sorted out. I like the graphical battles rather than the text ones from Neo Scavenger a little bit better, and the animations are a little bit lumpy. Like, it's not a pretty game by any means, but they work out fine for getting the idea across. I don't know. I'm not a graphics elitist, so somebody else can critique the game better in that field than I can. I play ASCII games, and so graphics are always pretty tertiary to me when it comes to the considerations of a video. I do like the loop of experimenting with items to see what you can build from the pile of trash that you have on hand. The crafting does seem to be pretty deep, and it seems like there's a lot of options there. Like I said, like, my main issue with the game comes back to performance. For me, with the frequent hangs and chugs, I would almost consider it not entirely playable. Like, that's kind of a harsh thing to say, but, like, I'm just going to throw it out there that that's the main reason why I haven't been dumping loads and loads of hours into this game. I can't stand it when games are, like, chunky and the frame rate suffers. It's possible that the issues that came up from my play were just a clash with my own personal hardware, but this is not a game that's graphically taxing, so there really shouldn't be this many major trip-ups when it comes to the game's frame rate. All that said, I will be keeping an eye on the game because I'm a Neo Scavenger addict, and the core mechanics all seem to be following in those footsteps really closely, but this is one of those titles that I'd probably wait and see for a bit before a purchase. The game's about $10 right now on Steam, and the gameplay is compelling enough that I want to play it more despite all the issues that I ran into, which is a really, really good sign. But the problems in performance are a major pet peeve of mine that are keeping me from, like, muscling through the content that they have at the moment. So here's hoping they'll get that smoothed out, because I am ready to play the game once it's resolved. My name is Splattercat. I sift through the pile to find what's worthwhile in the world of indie games every single day so that you don't have to. Today we had Lost Scavenger, which is a bit of a mixed bag. Like, core gameplay is good, performance is bad, so you're going to have to weigh whether or not that's going to be something that you can deal with. But I'll be back tomorrow with something hot and fresh off the indie skillet. Take care, everybody. I appreciate you stopping on through and patronizing the channel, and I'll be back with something good for you tomorrow. Bye.